Our beloved 8% Hard AF Seltzer is now live in over 2,500 locations across the United States. We're now available in Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, North Carolina, Ohio, and Texas. Go to hardafseltzer.com today, click on the store locator, enter your city or zip, and find the nearest location closest to you. Welcome to Drinking Bros, presented by GhostBed.com. Yeah, welcome to the Monday Morning Recap, brought to you by MyBookie.com. Promo code Drinkin' Bros doubles that first deposit all the way up to $1,000. Get off the couch and get into the action today with MyBookie.com. Just don't bet on Missouri. Bob, what happened to that team, man? They were booing him. They were booing Brady Cook at halftime.
Probably deserved. He's been kind of trash this year, to be honest. I was with all Mizzou buddies this weekend, and we were all basically of the same opinion. They're just high on their own fucking supply right now.
Well, that's what happens, right? You have one great year, and then everybody comes back, and you think you'll be even better.
Yeah.
They were ranked, number 6 in the nation?
6, yeah. Down to 11 now. But you know what? They won. Just win. Just win. It'll work itself out. If you just keep winning, it'll work itself out.
Well, will it? And that's the question.
If you keep winning, yeah. I mean, by definition, if you don't lose games, you'll be fine. But yeah, we'll see. Good time for a bye week, but they look like fucking shit. I mean, yeah, the kicker missed 3 field goals, and then we gave Vandy a free, weird 3 points at halftime with a horrible decision to go for it on 4th, where we weren't going to get anything done, and the guy hits his career long.
Going for it on 4th down, questionably, I connect with that.
Yeah, you love it, and that's fine.
Love when you go for it on 4th and 1 to get an extra play to maybe go for the end zone, even though you're going to kick the field goal regardless.
Yeah.
Sirianni's a great coach.
But real quick here, we'll go through the rankings of this because this is what I wanted to ask you about. Everybody's made such a big deal how many SEC teams are in the top 10. Look, when you're loading up a conference with 18 teams, it's like, what are we even doing
It's a different
anymore?
story now.
Yeah.
I mean, Texas is the only new one.
Texas is at 1, Georgia's at 2, Ohio State at 3, Alabama at 4, Tennessee jumped all the way up to 5.
I'm fine with that.
Ole Miss at 6.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm fine with those schools.
Miami at 7, Oregon at 8, Penn State at 9. Utah's in there at number 10, and then Missouri's at 11.
Yeah.
Now, the reason why I bring this up, with a 12-team playoff and this many teams in the SEC, how many losses can Missouri afford to lose?
So Missouri, it's going to be really, really dependent on strength of schedule now. People kind of used to say that a little bit, with the 4-team playoff, but typically you kind of knew who the 3 or 4 teams were. Now, especially once you get into the middle and back end of it, strength of schedule is going to be a huge deal.
And Mizzou does not have a good strength of schedule.
No, we have a low strength of schedule for the SEC. And so for us, I think probably we can only afford 1 regular season loss. If we made the SEC championship game and lost that, that's fine.
Okay.
But if we can only afford 1 regular season loss, because there's not going to be 10 undefeated teams.
No,
right?
not even close.
I got bad news for you, pal.
Yeah.
You're losing at least 3.
Fuck that.
You think 3? I got 2. I got Georgia and Oklahoma.
Yeah.
We don't play Georgia. Alabama, you mean?
I'm sorry, Alabama, yes.
I don't trust Oklahoma still. They can't score. They can't.
They have a good defense, and that was evident in that Tennessee game because I had a lot of money on that, and we won. Go Vols, big fan. But they have a really good defense. Still have not been able to figure out an offense. Not that that's shocking with Venables as your head coach.
Right.
So you're going to shore up the defense first before going to the offense. But, I mean, they have nothing on offense there. So it could be a dirty game, man.
Yeah, I'm not, and it's at home and it's an old rival. I'm not worried about the Oklahoma game. I'm more worried about them coming out flat after the bye and losing at A&M. They can afford 1.
That's right, they play A&M as well.
Well, talking about finding out ways to score, your guys need to figure that out as well.
Well, they need to finish the fucking drive and put the ball through the field goal. It's fucking crazy.
A lot of teams have problems with that. Baltimore Ravens for their entire franchise history, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. What's annoying is last week he had an incredible week. He was hitting 50-yarders, and then this week I'm
talking about putting it into the end zone.
I agree.
Yeah.
That was another annoying thing that me and all my buddies were like, dude, what the fuck? because and this is where we come into where we're like, are they high on their own supply? Are they just jerking off all game? Because they get to overtime, and in one play, Brady Cook throws it to fucking Luther Burden one fucking play, touchdown, 30-yard pass, no problem. And we're just like, where the fuck? All game, where the fuck is that? And
it reminds me of Hannah McCord and Marvin Harrison Jr. last year. You have the best wide receiver in football, and he's only getting 70 yards, but 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Things like that, where you're just like, why are you not going deep to this guy?
Right, but you also have one of the best quarterbacks in the country in Kyle McCord. And
Well, he lost.
he did lose that game.
Stanford was slinging.
You know, Stanford will catch you every now and then.
No, they
They'll
won't.
catch you sleeping.
No, they won't. And they shouldn't catch you sleeping on a flight from L.A. to
New York, no.
New York,
They
no.
shouldn't.
Holy shit, that was wild to watch. Everything else, though, in college football pretty much went as planned here. Texas rolled, number 1. Ohio State rolled. Ole Miss rolled again. God, all they do is cover up there. Lane
covers.
Love it. God, if you're Florida right now, you're backing up that truck. You're trying to put the money together for Lane Kiffin. He's the only one left out there. Urban said he wouldn't do it over the weekend.
Well, yeah. Why would Urban get back into coaching?
I agree, but I still think there's part of him that
So you
wants
can have
to do
more
it.
like fake heart attacks on the sideline?
You love it, dude. You love it.
I mean, wasn't Chris Carter was like on TV like crying a couple years ago because he thought that Urban Meyer's brain was going to explode?
yeah. He
So,
had
like-
I think he had an aneurysm or something.
Yeah, like he shouldn't.
Yeah,
I agree.
He
Don't
took
coach.
more knees on the sideline than Tim Tebow.
Sure did. But that's why he loved him. You pray together and you win together.
I don't think he was praying.
And that's family. He was praying, I think. I think he was praying.
Miami's going to win the ACC. That's obvious now, right?
It's nuts, isn't it?
They're going to go undefeated and win the ACC.
So I will say this: beating the shit out of South Florida was really impressive.
That was
South
really
Florida's not
was.
bad.
Yeah,
now
I agree.
South Florida's not bad.
It's
but
the first game that they've played well on both sides of the ball. The offenses look good, the defense look good in this game. It's still South
It's
Florida.
still
though.
Miami, right? Like, I still think they're going to trip up.
And I got to say, boy, Clemson is playing some angry football.
Well, they are
Clemson is-
now.
They don't have to play Clemson until the
Right, but
ACC
exactly.
championship
yeah,
game.
but I'll tell
Maybe.
you the spot where they might trip up. Pitt. Pitt's kind of dumping it in right now.
No,
Is
they're
it
not.
at
They're
Pitt?
not going to lose to Pitt. They're not going to lose to Louisville. They're not going to lose any of those games.
They're going to lose to Pitt.
They're definitely
at
not losing
Pitt?
to Syracuse.
Cam Ward, 404 and 3 touchdowns.
No, they're going to go undefeated, and we'll see what happens. It appears as though they will probably play Clemson in the ACC championship game.
Yep.
Miami's a better team than Clemson, but that doesn't
It
mean
seems
shit.
like it.
That
So
doesn't
that-
mean anything. Miami's got the line.
In college,
One.
if you have a quarterback that talented, Lamar Jackson was able to do this with Louisville. I mean, Louisville had dog shit on that team, and he was able to do it.
But Miami's got good interior linemen as well.
Well, they paid.
Big
look,
people.
they got a lot of NIL money down
Yeah.
there, which is surprising.
So we'll see what happens. I don't think Clemson can beat them, to be honest. I don't think they have the line to do it. We saw them match it with Georgia, and Georgia was just bigger on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
And that's what it's going to look like with Miami. I think that's why Miami's really bullying people right now. That's the new thing in college football is spend all your NIL money on the fucking line.
Yeah. And if
that's
you
what
can
Kirby
afford a
does.
quarterback that's $10 million, do it. For
But-
me,
I just can't get out of my mind. Cristobal lost a game last year that he didn't have to. If he
The
just
Georgia
need
Tech
the,
game.
Yeah, the
if he
Georgia
just
Tech
need
game,
the
yeah.
ball out, they would have won the game, and he decided not to.
I will say this. It actually gets really interesting if Clemson comes into that with one loss and wins the ACC, because if Miami goes into it undefeated and loses the ACC champion game, they're going to get a bid still.
Yep.
But
Like,
you can have 2 ACC teams get
That's
in.
the.
yeah.
But I think if Clemson gets in with one loss and then loses the ACC championship, they're probably not in.
Also, don't let your Pony Express get hot.
I don't know. Maybe
boy.
if you're only lost. Well, yeah, if they lose the game and they have 2 losses, we'll see. But it would be 2 losses to a top 5 team at that point, probably, and another top 5 team.
If they get clowned by the 2 best teams they played, it would be a tough argument. But here's
Yeah.
the thing, though. That's when it helps to have good branding and a famous coach.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's really annoying.
Speaking of which, the game that I watched that I was most impressed with was Michigan over the weekend. Michigan had USC coming to town. USC was 11. They finally swapped out that quarterback, which is what I said
Orji
before
didn't
the
win that
season
game, though.
started. He didn't, but this is what Michigan football is. And I said this
Pound
in
the
the
ball.
pre-prediction show. Yeah, he was 7 of 12 for 32 fucking yards passing. That's it. And then they ran the ball 46 fucking times,
Yeah.
dude. I mean, that's it. You got a good defense. You got a great defense, actually. That's it. Just run it over and over again. Finally, USC players looked exhausted in that last 6 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
And then they were just tearing off runs, man.
That's the thing, too. Like, if you don't have interior depth on the line, and a lot of teams don't, including probably USC, then, oh, my God, like, you're fucked eventually. Like, you can't just keep defending the run all game. It's horrible.
And this truthfully shouldn't have been as close. There was a Maurice Clarett play. And that running back ripped it out of the defender's hands running down the field, ripped away that fumble, and they scored a touchdown the next play. That even kept them close, but then Michigan's run game just ended up shutting them down. Did Cam Rising? No, he still didn't play in that Utah game.
No, doesn't matter.
It doesn't?
They
won again.
The freshman, Isaac Wilson?
Yep.
He's not bad.
Not bad, and they won again on the road at Oklahoma State. I mean, that's pretty fucking impressive.
Oklahoma State's fraud.
Yeah, Oklahoma State sucks.
I'll give you your flowers, Bob. You called BYU over Kansas State there. Wow.
Well, I didn't call that score. That's for fucking
that was
38-9. Jesus Christ!
Dude,
now, we didn't bet on that, so it didn't matter. But fuck,
Provo's weird.
You
man.
don't want to go into Provo.
We thankfully get BYU at home, so we don't have to go to that weird Mormon shit.
Weird, man. LSU handled UCLA. Notre Dame beat Miami of Ohio. Who cares?
I mean, it was 14-3 at halftime. Notre Dame sucks.
Sucks.
They should have won this game by 60 fucking points.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Speaking of a
They're
team
fine.
that I'm like, and by the
They're
way,
not
like,
fine.
They're like
bad.
a perennial, but they're going to be between 16 and 25 all season.
who Notre Dame?
Yeah.
Yeah, but they don't
Yeah.
deserve a playoff spot.
No.
No.
And by the way, their loss just lost
Yeah.
To Buffalo.
to Buffalo. Yeah, who Missouri beat. I saw that score and I was like, well, that's nice.
But
little
we've
bright
been
side
saying
of the
that.
week.
Like, that's what Marcus Freeman loses to with the Marshalls of the world, the Northern Illinois.
Yeah.
Yep.
They always one game a year.
Marshall has always got surprisingly great receivers. Like, holy shit. That kid over there is going to be a first-round draft pick. man.
Pennington's son is the quarterback.
Yeah.
He's third, yeah. So they brought him in garbage time. I watched him play, but they have a wide receiver there that it's fucking incredible. And, they're still living off that Randy Moss sitch and Homeboy's Biscuits, which was really fucking funny. Northern Illinois lost. They're out. That's sad for me. Also very, very impressed with Tennessee, man. Not known for their defense. Had a good defense on Saturday. Covered the spread. And
That game, I don't know what that game tells me because Oklahoma doesn't have a good offense, and then Tennessee goes up against a really good defense for the first time and kind of gets bottled up. Like 24 points for Tennessee is low.
yeah, but it's a good team on the road. Norman's a tough place to play in. Like, it gets you ready for the rest of the games.
100%. And it is, I think people put, it matters, but people put a little too much value on like, oh, why did they only win by this much this week or whatever? Like, Tennessee just keep winning.
Well, and they beat the spread, but they beat the spread.
Yeah, they
So,
did cover. They did cover.
The reason that it was 25-15 and not 40-15 is because of field goals and not touchdowns. That's what happened.
Yep.
They got to the red zone plenty. They just didn't fucking put the ball in the fucking end zone. And look, maybe that's a function of Norman. Maybe it's a function of Oklahoma being a better defensive team this year than they have been recently. Or maybe it's a coincidence. Maybe they just ran plays that didn't happen to work that time.
Yeah,
right? So who fucking
I will
knows?
say, we say this all the time because we've both watched a lot of Josh Heupel offenses. Heupel's offenses tend to flame out against better defenses. Like they get
repetitive.
They get repetitive. It doesn't work. It works. I know every offense isn't as good when the defense is better, but it's like so markedly different when he comes up against a competent defense.
Because when it goes 3 and out and he goes as fast as he does, you give your defense no rest.
Yeah.
But either way, I like Tennessee, man. They're a fun team to watch. Heupel was emotional after the game. Nico's a good quarterback. Future's bright in Tennessee, and I can tell you behind the scenes, meeting with their NIL, their collective is on it, dude. So, yeah, Tennessee could be good for years to come. I love to see it because I love partying there. We'll switch on over to the NFL here. Man, if you think it out loud and you say it out loud on a show, you're going to lose this year in the NFL. My God. Giants won. Mm-hmm. Can't believe it.
Yep.
I didn't think they would win a game all year.
Danny Dimes, baby.
Man, it went
Malik
to
Neighbors.
Malik Neighbors.
I mean, the worst team in the NFL won this week, too.
Yes.
Not the Giants.
Not the Giants.
The Panthers.
The Panthers.
Are they bad?
Yes.
Or is Bryce Young bad?
Because they put in a normal quarterback.
But their defense,
competent.
Their defense was nasty. They had, at one point, I was watching the game because I had money on it, and I gave up in the third quarter. 9 sacks. Where the fuck has that defense been on?
I mean, they're probably on the field the whole time when Bryce Young's playing.
Yeah.
Because he's nebbish and goes 3 and out every time.
Yeah.
He's terrible. Yeah, this just proves that Andy Dalton should be in the league. That's really it.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any question about that.
Yeah.
There's definitely not 30 better quarterbacks than him.
No, and
There's not 30 good quarterbacks in the world.
No, Kurt Warner's watched so much bad quarterback play, he's just not watching tape anymore. That's what he tweeted.
Oh, really?
He's frustrated.
I understand it. I mean, look, if you're running down this, look at this game. This Giants-Browns game. Actually, we'll start with that Thursday night game with the Patriots and Jets. Starting Jacoby Brissett, why? Like, you drafted a first-round quarterback. Let him play in that
not
one.
great, so you don't want to kill your rookie quarterback and just immediately have him lose all of his confidence.
I guess, but you are just giving up on the season when you're like, all right, we're going with Jacoby Brissett.
They're still building. I mean, they're not ready.
No.
Get some more picks.
Get some picked.
But in this next game, because we'll run it down, whoever said that quarterback thing, Barstool this morning said, look, because the ratings are through the roof. They're even higher than they were last year, and you're watching a bad product. And that's what Barstool said. And I agree. We said on this show. It
was a bad product last year,
I know.
too.
But like the Giants and Browns, this is 21-15. Daniel Jones, who threw for 236 versus Deshaun Watson, who fucking sucks. It's a miserable game. The next one, the Packers at the Titans. Malik Willis against Will Levis. Like, they're doing the same thing with Malik that they're doing in college, where you're just like, all right, great. Throw the ball 10 times, and then we'll just run it the rest of the
You know
time.
who had the most
threw the
yards
ball.
this year? Or this past week? Caleb Williams.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't see the.
He had like 350 yards passing, but they lost.
They lost.
Malik Willis had a good game.
Did he? What was he?
He was 13 for 19, which is not a whole lot of throwing, but
He had 80 rushing yards or something like that.
He did, yeah.
The average yardage per attempt was 10.6. That's elite.
Yes,
That's not throwing 5-yard outs everywhere.
I know.
That's Malik Willis chucking the ball. They just didn't have to do it that much. And when you can run for 200 yards in a game just because you decide to, then you don't need to fucking throw the ball. Why? The risk of interception is always higher than the risk of fumble.
But
right?
the interesting part is they're letting him run the ball. He was the leading rusher on this team.
Yeah.
You're going to see that tonight in the Buffalo game as well. There's a lot of teams that are doing that this year, and it feels like college a little bit.
Well, cater your offense around the quarterback you have.
You have to at this
Don't
point.
force a quarterback into a system.
Yeah.
Matt LaFleur is a better coach than Mike McCarthy.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
That's
yeah.
obvious.
yes,
That's
yes.
obvious now because Mike McCarthy has everything you could ever want, and he still can't win.
Yeah.
Right. And LaFleur has, a completely new offense in general because Josh Jacobs is part of it now. But then he had to revamp it week to week because his quarterback's out for the next month, and he's doing a pretty good job of it. You know what I mean?
Trade Jordan Love.
They're not doing that. But there was
Motherfucker.
calls for Bryce Young, though. A lot of calls asking for trades with him.
Who wants him, though? His
Yeah,
value's like, he has zero value.
The
At
Dolphins.
this point.
I think the Dolphins want him.
Just have him.
Yeah.
You're not getting a first-round pick, though, for him.
I don't think so either. But if you don't believe in him, get rid of him and take what you can now. You learn that with Justin Fields, who we'll get to in a second. But you have that Bears-Colts game. Caleb Williams, sure, he threw for 363, but it was 33 of 52. I mean, God damn it. Those are college stats.
He also had a Hail Mary that was caught on the 1-yard line.
I mean,
Yeah.
unbelievable.
But that was like 50 of those yards.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
It's and Richardson was against him. That both of them didn't look great.
Richardson had some horrible throws.
No shit.
Yeah, that was a weird game for him. You don't usually see him make like stupid mistakes like that, but he was throwing the ball all over the place.
To be fair, he started like 12 games in his entire career, including college.
Who?
Anthony Richardson.
Oh, yeah.
Like since high school, he's only started like really 17, 18 games.
And then the rise of Durr. I mean, is this a real team in Minnesota?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think their coach has been good for a while, and they've had all those weapons and shit like that. Like,
It's all schemes, baby.
Yeah.
It's everyone's in the Church of Shanahan or McVay. They're all just like kind of these little branches off of that tree.
Look, you got Aaron Jones, who's your big free agent acquisition. He's been great. I've got him in fantasy, and he's been lights out. Another 100-yard game rushing for him. 4 catches for 46 yards and a touchdown receiving. Justin Jefferson's the best wide receiver in the NFL. That certainly helps. But the rest of this lineup, I just don't understand where the production's coming from. And even Durr only was 17 of 28 for 181 yards, but they smashed the Texans. This game was never close.
Fucking defense, good.
Their defense is good, and Minnesota's got a really good system. I mean, if you look up and down their stat chart, you'll see high average per attempt to Jefferson, and then you'll see, what's that kid's name, Naylor or some shit?
Yeah.
That has a small amount of receptions, low yards, but high touchdown ratio, right? Which means they found their guy in the red zone. This is like... It's a really well put together and coached team that you can just put in a random asshole at quarterback and win games.
The Vikings are also incapable of being like truly horrific. I remember people coming into this year were saying they're going to be really bad. I'm like, no, they're the Vikings. They're kind of like the NFC version of the Steelers, where obviously they don't have the success in the championships of the Steelers, but their like floor is 7 wins.
On Drinkin Bros Sports on Facebook, people were coming after, Vikings fans were coming after me saying, Skol! You've never won a Super Bowl. It's the same as the Falcons. We're both fucking losers, dude, except that one, too. It's who's your quarterback? You drafted another guy to be the dude. He got hurt opening play there, and now he's in there. I don't know what to think of the NFL anymore. I mean, I watched the next up game you were at, actually. It was Eagles Saints. Had all the money on the Eagles. They were catching 2.5, which was great. And then I went money line with it, and we won that one. But, man, it took Saquon Barkley being Superman at the end of the game to do it. Is the Saints' defense that good in real life?
No.
What happened there?
Did you even have fun?
No.
I was going to say.
Because we had a bunch of like drunk asshole Saints fans behind us.
Yeah.
That were just very idiotic.
Well, it was 3-0 going into the fourth quarter.
I know. They kept saying like the referees were all over Patrick Mahomes' dick. I'm like, he's not even here, man. He's not playing, man. He's playing later. But yeah, no, the defense, Jalen Hurts he's playing like he has CTE. He's playing like he's not all there anymore. Obviously AJ Brown was out. Devonta Smith got destroyed.
He's dead.
Which
sucks for me.
That was a Vontez Burfict style. Right?
That was dirty as hell.
It was dirty as hell.
There was no flag, but ball don't lie. Next play, the exact next play, Saquon Barkley takes to the house.
Yeah.
Yep.
We should have beat the Saints by a lot.
It was 15-12.
Sirianni just didn't kick field goals again for like the first 3 possessions. We had a blocked punt that I think they ended up scoring on. I forget.
They took it back real deep. It was,
They might have got 3 out
Well, they
of
only
it.
got 4 field goals out of those guys. So, I mean, the Eagles' defense was great.
Derek Carr turned into a pumpkin.
Sure did. The end of that game,
Is
finally.
Jalen a pumpkin again? Are we back to Alabama Jalen?
I think we might be. Yeah. He got his contract. He got his woman. He's kind of coasting now.
Well, we were talking about the Vikings. The last time, only 5 teams have finished last more recently or longer ago than them for the last time, right? So the last time the Vikings finished last in a division was 2013. Same for the Bills. Chiefs was 2012, Colts 2011, Saints 2008, believe it or not, but that's the worst division in all of football. But there've been some good years, right? Where Atlanta was good or something like that.
Yeah.
The Saints haven't finished last since 2008.
Many
All
argue
4 of the NFC South teams have made the Super Bowl in the last 15 years.
Yeah.
But many argue that
then-
Hurricane Katrina was the catalyst.
It was.
For the Saints.
It was. And then we played them the week after.
Well, that's
Remember that
the
game?
year.
They made an entire documentary.
The year before they won their only Super Bowl was the year that they finished dead last in the league.
Because
Yeah.
before
I think it's the second
Katrina,
time that
they were a
happened
joke.
because that happened to Dallas 90-91, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
I think,
they were.
or was
really
it
bad.
89-90 or something? I don't know.
89, yeah, with Aikman.
Anyways, the Steelers haven't finished last since 1988.
And all they do is continue to win. Justin Fields.
But the same for the Vikings. Like these teams that you think of that are well coached, and look, the Saints had some rough years, but Sean Payton was a great coach. Steelers, Packers. Steelers went from one great coach to another. Packers went from, they've had some problems with Mike McCarthy, right? But not enough to make them last place.
Right.
The Colts have had good coaching over the years. The Saints, more or less good coaching. The Chiefs obviously have the best coach in football.
But with the Steelers, Tomlin's 3-0 again. Do you start because Homeboy's going to be healthy this week? Do you start him or trade him?
You ride Fields.
I agree.
He doesn't cost any money, so
Fields
who
had a
cares?
good game. Why would you not keep using him?
I agree, but there's still some conversation about it. I don't know what is it. He's 3-0. Let him play, and he's doing all the things you asked him to. They bumped up his throws this week. They let him throw over 30 times for the first time this year. He looked good. unless you're a Falcons fan. You said I could have had that for a 5th-round pick, and that sucks. But do they trade Russell Wilson to maybe Miami?
No, why would you? They got the best quarterback situation in the league right now.
Yeah, because I mean, look, look how many quarterbacks are already hurt this year, dinged up or whatever. Like, fuck it, you got to keep them.
But do you keep Fields and then just try to get a great pick for Russell Wilson? Because it felt like they were doing it for one or the other.
What value would you get for Russell Wilson right now? I mean, Miami offers a third or fourth.
A
Would
third
you take
pick,
it?
yes. A 3rd-round pick. You wouldn't take it?
No.
Because he's a good backup?
1st-round pick.
Really?
That's what a backup goes for.
I mean, you're just fucked if he gets hurt, if Fields gets hurt.
It's true.
So
It's true, and you're watching that in Miami now. Skylar Thompson died up in Seattle, literally almost on the field.
I mean, Herbert's off the field right now too, right? Like he fucked up his
Ankle.
Yeah,
he was in a walking boot there. And then you look at letting Baker bake. I was there and I was with him, and then the loser fucking Broncos
gonna happen.
absolutely destroyed them.
Sometimes,
not like this.
sometimes people are gonna piss in your sourdough starter. You know what I mean?
Not like
Bakery's
this.
not always a happy place.
This was awful, man. I mean, they were checked out from the opening kick of this. I had a lot of money.
Wait,
on this.
do you have to get like a Derek Wolf tattoo now? What's the
No, if they win 10 wins.
What were the stakes on this
10
game?
wins, yeah. This one, nothing, thankfully. So it's overall season, 10 wins for the Broncos. If they win 10 games, they're not going to do that. So we're fine on that.
I don't think you have to worry about that now.
No.
And then Gardner Minshew got dominated by the ferocious
Destroyed.
Carolina Panthers
Destroyed.
defense.
Why? What happened in Carolina that's just turned into the greatest defense of all time?
That's just the
Their
NFL,
defense
man.
wasn't on the field that much.
8
That's what
sacks. 8 sacks they had in this game, which if you had them in fantasy, congratulations.
Time of possession for the Raiders was 24 minutes.
Yeah.
To 36.
I mean, they shut
Right.
down everything over there, and having money on this game, watching it. Here's what's easy about the Raiders if you're trying to figure them out. They have no running game. They don't have a running back. They have no running backs whatsoever to speak of. Therefore, he's got to throw the entire game, stack the box, and then see what you can do there.
Yeah, I mean, Minshew's not going to be good no matter what, right? But
He's
certainly
he's
not
the
in
greatest.
this situation.
He's the greatest quarterback of our generation, and but no, I don't know what happened to this Carolina team. Like, this was shocking.
Sometimes it's a weird thing where it's like, you'd be like, oh, dude, you just put any asshole in there and they'll be fine as long as the team's good enough. But it also is like the reverse, right? Where it's like, oh, all you need is a competent quarterback and the team
A professional.
completely
Sometimes
different.
you just need an adult in the room.
Yeah.
But
Like,
Shuba Hubbard, their running back, had 114 yards for Carolina. Like, defense was lights out. It was weird to see, man.
He had 900 yards last year. He and Miles Sanders are a pretty good team there.
Weird, right?
It's just that Carolina has the worst offensive line, maybe in NFL history right now. Like, for real. It's so bad.
I don't even think they're the worst offensive line right now.
They are definitely the worst in the league right now.
No, I would say the Bears are probably the worst in Carolina.
Watching the Bears is ugly. And then the Dolphins, man. Look, you lost 2 quarterbacks now. Homeboy was down on the field. Skylar Thompson was down on the field there for a while. Turns out it was just a severely broken rib. But now what? They've got to trade for someone.
What do you mean severely broken rib?
He was down for 10, 15 minutes. They thought it was like a DeMar Hamlin sitch because he was having trouble breathing and shit. It turned out to be a broken rib. But what do you do now? Who's their third?
who knows?
I don't know.
Doesn't
just
matter.
Be a man and play. What are you
Sign
talking
someone.
about?
You're gonna have to, I guess, right?
Tom Brady's out there.
Tannehill.
Yeah. Bring back Tannehill.
I mean, because everybody's laying out suggestions today of who their quarterback should be. Tannehill is the only one that makes sense.
Tom
coming
Brady.
home.
Tom Brady throwing to Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle.
Now, here's why that would work.
It would work because it's Tom Brady throwing to Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle.
No, here's why this would really work for Fox. He's awful. I got to see him call a game yesterday. That was the
Not
first
good.
time I've seen. No, he's not good. And they spent $30 million a year. I
Greg
think
Olsen
Fox
was much better and much cheaper.
He sure was. And I think Fox now would be like, hey, why don't you go back and take that money so we can get the fuck out of this deal? That's a lot of money Fox is sinking to Tom Brady. $300 million is fucking nuts to me.
God.
So, yeah, get him out of there. And then if you're Tom Brady, you got Jalen Waddle, you got Tyreek Hill. You would look like a fucking superstar again overnight for doing nothing but 10-yard passes, if that's what you wanted to. But other than that, who else is out there? Tannehill and who? Russell Wilson, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, they could try to call for Russ. I don't know why the Steelers would do it. I don't even know who else. I mean, also the thing, too, is you can't just, like, it's not like a pitcher, right? Like, you can't just trade for him and it's like, all right, you're on the mound today. Like they don't know the offense. Like it's going to take weeks to integrate.
Yeah, where's Sam Howell at right now? Maybe
I think he's in Seattle.
make
Yeah,
a call for Sam Howell.
I would. Sam Howell is good. Drew
can-
Lock.
Yeah, so if Danny Dimes is slinging in New York, get Drew Lock down there.
Get Drew Lock, see what he can do. I mean, look, we're seeing what Durr can do with a fucking full starting year. So who knows, dude? Maybe one of these guys can turn it around. The NFL itself, though, is bizarre. This Ravens game against the Cowboys, they smashed them in the entire game. Cowboys came back towards the end there and made it interesting. And then Dak is Dak at the end of that, and it's over. Ravens pick up a victory. For the Cowboys, it's weird watching this team, man. They didn't pick up anyone in the offseason. No one.
Jerry Jones straight up said they couldn't afford Derrick Henry because people were like, why didn't you sign? Remember, you needed a running back?
Is that what he said?
He goes, yeah, we didn't have the money for Derrick Henry.
Because of Dak and CeeDee Lamb?
I guess, dude. I don't fucking know.
Well, at the time, neither one of them were signed, right?
Yeah.
CD got signed late, and Dak didn't get signed until the day before the season started, I believe.
Yeah.
It's wild. I mean, you've got Rico Dowdle as your running back there in Dallas. 8 carries, 32 yards.
That doesn't always matter.
It's not going to do it against...
The Chiefs have some white mullet head fuck running for them now, and he's doing just fine.
But they got the greatest quarterback of all time, and they got pretty good receivers.
That doesn't have anything to do with their running game.
No, but they don't need it. The Chiefs really don't need it. I mean, you were there last night.
Yeah.
It's the Chiefs are going to do the same thing. None of us are shocked by what they did.
Again, they looked like shit. They kind of looked like shit last night from what I could tell. I mean,
Mahomes looked lazy as shit again.
Yeah, and
lobbing up interceptions.
But that's what I was saying last week. I was like, if now we're in a place where the Chiefs are winning the games where they look like shit instead of being, because like every other year we're like,
yeah,
God, they don't even fucking try half the time. They're winning the games they're not even trying in. It's over. Okay. Everyone's fucked.
Everybody's fucked.
Let's stop this narrative. They don't try. They're still trying.
I don't think they do
it's
until
NFL
the end.
football. They're all professional.
But it feels like the Warriors. Like they'll turn it on when they want to. But Mahomes looks really tired.
He might force things in the regular season that he wouldn't in the playoffs because he's just trying things out.
I get all that. It just you watch it and you're like, I know you're more talented.
You know who looks tired is Travis Kelce.
Yes. He looks exhausted.
He looks like he's done with football, to be honest. And thanks for doing that the year I got you in my fantasy
He was
team.
kind of done early last year, right? And then he kind of turned it on for the playoffs.
He had a huge playoffs, but the regular season he wasn't very good.
Yeah. I mean,
well, two things came into play for Travis Kelce this year. If you believe the hype that he was going to retire last year, Taylor Swift relationship is still going strong. NFL wants that.
Yeah, where's the contract?
So they're doing that, and then they got the $100 million deal for the podcast. That came along with, hey, you're going to keep playing.
By the way, did you see what was the number 4 podcast in the world today? Talk Tua.
Was it really?
Yeah.
By the way, it's been a running joke about guests on her show.
Yeah, it's been memed into
It's not
oblivion.
Trump or that wasn't true. None of it is true.
Damn,
They've now moved on from who's on the show to the topics she covers. So it's just really
number
in-depth.
4 in the world, huh?
Yeah, that's what I saw today.
Okay, good for her. But yeah, as far as the Chiefs go, look, 4th down, Atlanta doesn't have a running quarterback. You're going to hand off. You knew. We all knew what was going to happen.
Yeah, but run the ball up the middle.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as I saw...
This is a basic fucking geometry problem.
Yep.
This is longer than this.
Yep.
To get to here, right? It's just Pythagorean theorem could have told you which play to call right there. And then, the refs didn't do you any favors. Kyle Pitts got mugged. He got tackled in the end zone by a guy who wasn't even looking for the ball.
Yeah, that was absolutely
holy
DPI.
shit. The Falcons should have won that game. And their defense stood up at the end of the game, too. So I think there's a decent chance, probably a really good chance they win that game if that play doesn't happen.
If you're Robinson, though, and you're not even close to the first down marker, you got to pitch it, right? You just throw it.
Something.
Honestly, the way that play was unfolding, I don't think I've ever really seen this happen in the NFL, but I've seen it happen in college before, where running backs are just like, nope, and then just run all the way back around. Like, you're faster and you're making the decision, so you're a second ahead of them. But it was snipped out immediately.
Action is faster than reaction is the way to say that, yeah.
I mean, Nick Bolton was in the backfield as soon as Bijan Robinson went out.
Or if you don't trust Kirk Cousins' Achilles, put in Penix for a QB sneak.
Yes.
No joke.
No, you can't do that, though, because Michigan tried that with Alex Orji against Texas. Every time he comes into the game, it's a sneak. If you know it's a sneak.
But you can't stop it, really. You can't really stop the push, unless it's Kirk Cousins who has no.
They're not doing
Achilles.
the push, though.
No, but I would have trusted Penix to get a half a yard or 6 inches or whatever the fuck it was.
They should have trusted Bijan Robinson to get a yard straight up the middle. Yeah.
Straight up the middle.
Horrible call.
I did not know it was that muggy in Atlanta. I saw the stadium was open.
I mean, I was drenched.
Bijan Robinson kind of got lit up in this game, to be honest.
Well,
16 carries for 31 yards.
You know
That's
why?
bad.
They're swinging him outside, and there's just no reason for it. Like they did it that last play too. Where
Yeah.
it was just like, just go up the fucking middle. Like,
Yeah.
If you're depending on which side of the ball you like to run to, if your right tackle or your left tackle is fast, then you can run those outside runs all day long because you always have a big dude that's making his way out there. But look at how far ahead. Like, I guarantee if you watch this game tape on Atlanta, one, Pitts is not a blocker. He's not a fucking big, beefy dude as a tight end. He's a receiver, right? So he's not out there throwing wicked blocks, although he's not bad at it, but he's not out there throwing wicked blocks. And then you don't have your left or right tackle pulling on a draw like that and fucking moving out towards the edge of the field, and there's nobody to block. So it's just like 4 defenders versus your one guy. Maybe you beat him sometimes by breaking some ankles, but if they're layered, you're fucked. You're just getting tackled. This is the way it is, right? There's no way to fucking fight against that. So why even run that fucking play if you don't have the personnel to run it correctly?
We have a terrible head coach. He fucking sucks. He sucked when he was there 3 years ago. It's not like he got
That's
better.
the difference between good coaches and shitty coaches.
I know.
Man. They use, like, look at what LaFleur's doing with bad options right now.
I know.
Versus what your guy is doing. Look, that Atlanta's defense is a top 5 defense.
It's
in the
great.
NFL.
They look great.
They should be winning games like
I know.
this.
You need a coach that just plugs and plays like Sirianni.
You also have a first-year offensive coordinator.
Yep.
Zach Robinson, who came over. He's a McVay guy. Came from the Rams.
Yeah. None of it's great.
The,
None of it's great in Atlanta.
the numbers say to do this. Like, oh yeah, you've been in football for 40 years. Maybe just trust whatever you think is the right.
You need a
thing.
guy who trusts his gut, not the data.
Exactly.
Not the stats. I need a Dan Campbell type.
Exactly.
Well, that's
Even though
because
he
they don't-
does, I think, weirdly get into statistics.
They don't understand. These people don't understand how distributed statistics work. Just it's the same thing. The reason that Tampa Bay will never win a World Series ever. They'll win fucking all kinds of division titles. They'll get to the playoffs. They'll never win a World Series because what happens over the course of 162 games is never going to fucking fit into what happens over the course of 3 to 7. It'll never work that way.
They're also just a fake team.
Who?
Like
Yeah,
the Rays.
that's
not a real franchise.
No.
They're good enough to fucking chip away. If you're disciplined enough and you do the right thing enough, over 162 games, you can win 90.
It's the only World
Yeah.
Series of my lifetime, and we beat the Rays in 5. And nobody remembers it because they're not a real team.
And I don't remember it until you bring it up.
But you can do that as an NFL team as well. If you do the right things all the time, technically speaking, over the course of the season, right, it should all work out. Well, it doesn't work that way. Just because it makes sense to go for it on 4th down every single time doesn't mean that's a good idea.
Sometimes you got to read the vibes. Sometimes, like you gotta.
That's why you need a vibe coach. You need a fucking. You need McConaughey with no shoes on the fucking sidelines. It's like, you know what? I think we should go for it.
He's
man.
the minister of culture at Texas.
He is.
He's like on. I wouldn't say a micro dose, but like half of a normal dose of mushrooms.
He was on the field for the Michigan game when we were there.
You get
but-
like Shane Gillis to be the minister of culture for the Eagles.
Well, he's
Boom.
doing that for Notre Dame right now. Big Notre Dame guy he is.
Which he has no connection to, right?
And then
Again, that is
He's
just
Catholic.
No, he's Catholic and he's
Yeah.
from Pennsylvania. That's how it works.
I know. I'm Catholic from
did
Missouri.
he go
I get
there?
it.
He played
No.
D1 football for.
He went to West Point, left West Point.
After like a couple of days.
Yeah.
He's just like, I can't.
Yeah.
Smart.
Like, I'm going to end up in jail. That's the problem with going to a service academy or joining the military. It's like, I don't like this job anymore. It's like, okay, well, you can go to jail now.
Yeah, that's it.
Because you signed a contract, bitch.
That's it.
So it's best to get out of that at the earliest possible opportunity.
You're telling me there's a non-compete? No.
Yeah. And then the last 2 games here, 49ers at Rams. Look, this was hilarious because there was a bunch of people talking shit. And then the 49ers ended up blowing this game.
McVay owns Shanahan.
Was
does.
not
He's
on
got his
Purdy,
number.
by the way. Purdy looked good. Fuck you, whoever in the chat said that to me.
Purdy's
Purdy
the
looked
best
fine.
quarterback in the league right now.
He looked fine. And
Like, execution-wise, he's got the good team. And some of his weapons are banged up right now, but he's got the good
All
team.
of them
But
are banged up.
Jawan Jennings is an elite receiver. He's just as good as anybody else on their team.
Mahomes exists.
Mahomes exists.
Josh Allen exists.
Dude,
The thing about Purdy is that he's more disciplined, right? Like if you compare their stats side by side at the end of the seasons, Purdy will have better stats than Mahomes will. Now,
Almost certainly.
But that's a product of Shanahan.
Sure, no, it's not. It's a
Yes.
it's a product.
Jimmy G put up numbers.
System
against
quarterback.
No, it's not.
Too.
It's a product of discipline, right? But if you're in a position, if I've got a minute 45 left and I need to win this game, I'm picking Mahomes over Purdy, no matter what their stat sheet looks like,
Right?
Because he's more dynamic, right? He's got a higher ceiling, but Purdy's more disciplined. So he's going to, over the course of a season, he's going to be better.
Kind of back to your Rays point.
It's the same thing,
Yeah.
But I don't like that. Purdy's having trouble in the postseason. Not that it's his fault. He's got pretty good numbers in the postseason.
Is he having a lot? He made it. What has he made? One or two Super Bowl? One Super Bowl.
One, yeah, and the other one he couldn't throw the fucking ball.
Yeah,
So.
Oh, he did. Yeah, he died.
But he had
yeah.
a
He died on the
perfect
field.
completion rate. He was 4 for 4.
Yeah,
was, yeah.
yeah. So, I mean, look, though he's been
If you
healthy
expand
for
that
one,
out over the whole game, he would have been 40 for 40.
Yeah.
800 yards.
I mean, he's been healthy for one postseason and made the Super Bowl, which is almost as much as you can.
No,
ask
he's
of
good,
him.
but he doesn't
Yeah.
like. I don't expect that big moment from him
No.
the way that I do from Mahomes, which is why Mahomes is the best that we've ever seen, to be honest.
Yeah, and
Which is what's irritating about him not being disciplined. And maybe you can't have both. Jordan did both, but he had to take a fucking 2-year break in between.
I'm telling you, dude, there was
to be disciplined all the time, I think it fucks you up.
But
I don't think do it.
when they zoomed in on him on television last night, Mahomes had bags under his eyes. Travis Kelce just looks exhausted.
Yeah.
But like traveling all over the world for your fucking girlfriend, to Australia, to Munich, to fucking Sweden, and all this other shit, and then coming back to play football along with the movies, because I just saw him in a fucking Ryan Murphy trailer the other day. So he's doing movies and all this other shit.
He's in Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
Or the new Happy Gilmore.
It's just too much shit. And
Who's
then all
Ryan
those.
Murphy?
Ryan Murphy's one of the biggest producers there is.
Oh, and don't forget that the year before Jordan
American Horror
quit,
Story.
before
Glee.
Jordan quit, he did fucking Space Jam.
Yeah.
Jordan, yeah.
And he was exhausted.
It was season Olympics, Olympics and Space Jam at the same time, and then season again. And then after that next season, he was like, "I'm out."
And I even think the Mahomes shit is carrying over, where he's been hanging out with them, partying and shit. And it's like, hey, dude, you got to get some rest.
He keeps getting in Kelsey's face. He goes, "Hey, this is MAGA country."
Yeah. We got some sponsors to put this show on the air, and then we'll get to doubleheader Monday Night Picks here in a second, right after the commercials. Obviously, mybookie.com. Promo code Drinkin' Bros will double that first deposit all the way up to $1,000. I always say at the end of these shows, bet with us or against us. You should definitely bet against me in NFL right now, because it's not great, and a lot of people are having a hard time out there, but that's the beauty of it. Look at my picks and then just do the opposite, okay? Because they've been fucking bad here. I had a lot of money on the Buccaneers this weekend. Yeesh. But if you're a longtime listener, day one homie, and you've been on mybookie.com, they'll give you a promo there to rejoin. You know what the dollar amount is, Bob, on that one? I know they sent it in, but
For the MyBookie.
for the return customers.
We'll check my email real quick. I can't.
Yeah, look that up. But all of our odds, including tonight's, are on there. College football's in full swing. Odds are constantly changing for the national championship. If you believe in your team, let's say you believe in a Tennessee, you get great odds on them still right now for Tennessee to win the national championship. Heisman Trophy winner, all that other stuff, although Cam Ward is really far ahead right now as far as the Heisman goes. And then we'll get to the two Monday night games in a second. Next up is drinkinbrostickets.com. A lot of people getting tickets to games. It's not just NFL, college, all that other stuff. It's concerts, it's rodeos, you name it and think of it, Wimbledon, whatever is out there. We got it on there for sale. It's about $10 cheaper than StubHub. A bunch of people bought a bunch of Cowboys tickets yesterday to go to that game. Sorry, Cowboys fans. It was not great. And then you guys thought you had a chance at the end. Last but not least, here today we got hardafseltzer.com. Illinois has made it. This is the highest they've been ranked in years. The Hard AF Seltzer effect is real. Michigan got a big victory this weekend. More schools should pick us up. We're good luck, kids. Go to hardafseltzer.com. Got the store locator up and rocking. Michigan is open. Illinois is open. They won't be on that store locator. It takes about 30, 35 days for that to upload. We're also live in Texas, Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, Alabama, Eastern Seaboard of North Carolina, Ohio, Oregon, Idaho, and Montana are opening up next week. We got a new cheap shipper as well, so it's only $2 a can. 24 cans, $48. Go to hardafseltzer.com today. Support us and support the show by buying a 12-pack. or just go to that store locator, enter your city or zip, and it'll take you to the closest location nearest you. What do we got, Bob?
Yeah, for my bookie, I don't have a number specifically, but all you guys who've been playing a bunch over and over again, like with us for years or months even, my bookie plus is their sort of like premium VIP situation. Does not cost you money, but they're giving out a bunch of like bonuses, extra bets. They'll boost your bets and stuff like that. So if you are a returning customer of MyBookie, which I feel like most of you guys are, MyBookie Plus, check it out. I will drop some instructions on how to do that in the
audio description
in the Facebook group.
Okay,
and then,
great.
Yeah. So I'll let you guys know. But MyBookie Plus is giving out like a ton of shit in terms of like betting bonuses and all kinds of stuff like that.
They fucking rock. Speaking of which, let's get to tonight's games. Doubleheader. Anybody know why? On September 23rd, we're doing a doubleheader on a Monday night, an hour apart.
They do this once a year.
Mind your fucking business. That's why.
It's always early. Maybe they didn't like the slate for week 1. So
This is
they're like,
America.
I love it. I'm just questioning it.
I mean, it's
right?
4 loser teams.
Bills are 2-0.
The Bills are they'll be a first round exit in the playoffs.
No.
They're not.
The NFL's really shitty this year,
Yeah,
man. I don't know.
The Bills are
AFC.
they're choke artists.
They might choke tonight, by the way.
I mean, like literally, there isn't other than the Braves, there isn't a bigger choke franchise in the history of organized sports.
Well, the Braves at least won a couple.
Yeah.
Bills have it.
Yeah. I mean,
Bills
the
lost 4 in a row.
Again,
I mean,
we
the Braves are almost a victim of their own success because if they hadn't gone to 14 consecutive and then another 7 consecutive division titles, nobody would care that they didn't win a bunch of World Series. Right?
It broke
the
my
fact that you won 2 is like that's better than most teams.
To watch that Maddox story, it broke my heart that he never won more than 1.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was calling his own
actually-
pitches
But the
every
Bill-
single
I think
pitch.
it's smart this year. The Braves, they know they're not going to win the World Series, so they're just like, we're going to sit it out.
Yeah. Which they literally have done
They
that.
appear to be sitting it out.
Well,
big series tonight.
Exactly. Well, we'll get to it. Speaking of which, are the Jaguars sitting it out? They're 0-2 to start the season. This is a must-win game tonight for them at the Bills.
Well,
This
Lawrence-
is Buffalo
Lawrence
-5
sucks.
now. It was -4.5.
Trevor Lawrence
-5.
isn't good.
Lawrence showed up with a tan suit and white shirt, white T-shirt.
Moments ago.
So
Great.
you know, there's
So
that.
He's going to lose.
So Trevor Lawrence has very comparable stats to Danny Dimes his first couple of years.
It seems like it. But
No,
you know
he's
what's
like
weird?
Very, you know how I brought up Baker Mayfield and Drew Brees, their first like 95 games?
Yeah.
The Daniel Jones, Trevor Lawrence, like first couple years of their careers are almost identical.
Well, you know what's weird is I think he gets a pass because he's in Jacksonville, which nobody really pays attention. And also, he was so hyped
Yeah,
from
it was the
a
hype.
freshman in high school all the way up to everything that happened. He won the national championship and everything else. And then you just kind of get lost over here in Jacksonville because then 2 year games are in London. Nobody really pays attention to him on
Right.
the morning shows or our shows to throw him under the bus.
true.
But you're right. He's probably the same as Danny Dimes right now.
And honestly, like last year, they fucking had one of the biggest choke jobs. The Eagles were obviously number 1 with how bad we finished the season, but the Jaguars missed the playoffs. They were at one point the number 1 seed with 8 wins, and they just missed the playoffs.
Altogether.
Yeah.
The last time the Bills beat the Jags, Blake Bortles was the Jaguars quarterback.
Blake Bortles, who took the Jags to the AFC Championship game.
Really?
Took the lead
That's
in the
right, I
AFC
remember
Championship
that.
game.
That's the last time.
And then the defense blew
fell
it.
That's the
apart.
last time Buffalo beat Jacksonville, though. Jacksonville's won the last 3.
That's wild to me.
Yeah.
So who do you got tonight at -5? A listener sent me a crazy stat. And you can fact check it on your own. Buffalo on a 6 to 7 point teaser has won 54 in a row. I can't confirm that, but I'll look at it for sure, especially for tonight's game. Because what I would do is jack up Buffalo and jack up this fucking over here at this point. Who do you got, D'Anthony?
I'll take Jags +5.
Okay. Delco?
Yeah, it's the NFL. Obviously, the Bills are a better team, but Jags are more desperate. If they start 0-3, it's over. So, Jags cover, Bills win by 3.
Okay. Who do you got, Hubba?
Just take the Bills. Straight up. They'll cover the 5 or whatever. Yeah.
I'm going to tease this up. I love the teasers on my bookie. I'm going to go regular spread on the next game here. So I'm going to tease this up. Give me Jacksonville +12 and then the under at 53.5. I just want to test your theory. 2 people have sent that in here. So, yeah, we'll give it a go there and see what happens. However, I just can't see the Jags going 0-3. That's it. That's their season. Next up, you got the Redskins at the Bengals tonight. Another team that can't afford to go 0-3 here in Cincinnati. This is Cincy -7. D'Anthony, who you got?
7's too much. The Bengals are not good. Their offensive line is bottom 5 in the league. They're still giving up so much. Like it's the Bengals, Panthers, and Bears have no functioning offensive line right now. So no, I'm not going to give them 7 points. Fuck that.
What do you got?
Bengals have been starting 0-2 every year. It doesn't matter. Slow starters, they'll get into a groove. They proved last week they are a top team in the AFC. They'll turn around. They'll beat the fuck out of the Redskins because the Redskins suck. And Jaden Daniels is a joke.
This will be T. Higgins' first game.
That defense is going to eat them up. Dude, yeah, Bengals by 21.
Who you got, Bob?
Oh man, the Bengals did look pretty good against the Chiefs last week, but just kind of blew it. I'll say they can't start 0-3, so I think they'll this feels like a push. I would buy a half point and go
That's what I'm doing.
6.5.
I'm buying a half a point, and I got it at 6.5. Always do the same thing on this show. I just can't see the Bengals starting off 0-3. It is the Redskins at home. People would be fucking pissed up there in Cincinnati. So yeah, for that reason, I'm going to take this Cincinnati at 6.5.
The Bengals are giving up 160 rushing yards a game. And
be a fun day for Daniels.
You're going against Jaden Daniels and Brian Robinson and Austin Eckler.
Yeah. I'm telling you, I'm not doing it. I don't care. I got the Bengals tonight. I know you love the Redskins.
I think the Bengals win by maybe a field goal or something. 7 points is too much for the NFL.
Okay.
Especially for a team that doesn't have an offensive line. As a matter of fact, if the Redskins had a defense at all, they probably would win this game, to be honest. But they don't.
I think Burrow's going to throw for like 400 yards.
with T. Higgins back?
Maybe.
Yeah,
maybe. I mean, fucking the Redskins' defense is. There's not a whole lot going on.
And you got to keep Jamar Chase happy. You didn't give him a contract, so you better fucking throw the ball to him 900
And people were
times.
saying like his hands all fucked up. It looked fine last week.
I agree.
What, like that dude from Scary Movie?
Yeah.
Just a
He had a
little baby hand.
little
baby
claw
hand.
hand.
Or the guy
stirring
from
the mashed potatoes.
Hot Tub Time Machine who just didn't have a hand.
Just didn't have one.
Yeah.
Didn't have one. We'll switch on over to baseball. Otani, first player with 50-50, man. That's
Felt like so long ago.
Didn't
was, What,
Friday.
Friday.
Yeah. Here's the real question: is that the greatest game ever played by a?
6 for 6, 3 home runs, 10 RBI.
I would say it's got to be. There's a game where a pitcher threw a no-hitter and hit 2 home runs. I can't remember the guy's name.
So like Bumgarner?
Or a shutout. Oh, it was a shutout. It was a shutout, and he had 2 home runs.
Okay.
That's going to be in there.
I would put any perfect game probably. If you're going.
Well, Don Larson, perfect game in the 62 World Series for the Yankees, I
I think
think.
it's 50 something, but yeah.
That to me is the most impressive feat of all time.
Yeah, I mean, to be perfect when it mattered the most is impressive. And then I would say
Joe Carter winning a World Series.
the last game.
That
that's just
walk-off
one
homer?
game. That's just one hit, though, right?
Yeah,
like, I'm
but
talking about the
that's
whole game.
Pretty dope.
Then
Yeah, it was awesome.
The other game that I would
good for
say
us.
that might fly under the radar a little bit is the last game of the season when Ted Williams hit 400. The last guy to hit 400.
Oh, yeah.
He was at 396.
Yep.
Or it was, I'm sorry, it's 399.6. So he had won. It was 400.
Yeah.
Right? They would round it up. He would be 400. And he played anyway and went 3 for 5.
He finished at
And
what? Like
finished 404.
04? Yeah.
I think you got to put that one in there too, just because, again, the stakes and the performance. Those are the two elements there, stakes and performance. I don't know that the stakes were super high for Otani there, but the fact that he was going over 50 for both home runs and steals in that game.
They did also clinch a playoff berth with that win.
Yeah, I
they did.
suppose, but they were going to do that.
It was the Marlins.
But
and
10 RBI, like the amount of people with 17 total bases and 10 RBI in the game, 17 total bases, 10 RBI, and 2 stolen bases, the amount of times that's happened in Major League Baseball history is once.
Yep.
And it was last week, right? So the good news about this is we don't have to choose one of them. We can just appreciate the fact that all of these are incredible goddamn feats.
Yeah, and the other thing, too, is that he did it on the same day. A lot of people were talking about. Obviously, he had money on it, so he had to do it that day.
Oh, it's 56 for Don Larson, by the way.
1956?
Yeah, that's probably that's got to be the best because it's the
In the World Series,
He
right.
throws a fucking perfect game. I don't know, where do you rank Otani, because the stakes weren't super high necessarily. Like, he had 10 more games after that to do the stuff that he did in that game.
Right.
He just happened to step into that game with those things on the line, securing the division, going over 50 in both, and it was like, I'm going to do it all today. Fuck you.
Well, let me ask you
That's
this.
pretty impressive.
Is it the greatest single season performance in the history of baseball?
No, because I mean, if you don't, you have to still include Bonds. And
Yeah.
I don't include Bonds.
If you don't include Bonds, then we can start talking about it. But by the way, Aaron Judge this season is kind of being overlooked again because Ohtani's doing crazy shit. Aaron Judge's OPS is like 100 points higher than Ohtani's.
Yeah.
Like
speaking of OPS, right? So Bond's best year, 2004. Ohtani could go 69 for 69 in all home runs, and he still wouldn't have an OPS as high as Bonds was in 2004.
That's
because
crazy.
Bonds walked 232 times.
Yeah.
Right? So for most people, half of those are outs.
Yeah.
Right? So you take half your outs and you just give one total base. It's insane.
Also, I feel like you got to put up a Josh Hamilton 4 home run game.
There's a couple 4 home run games, but the RBIs weren't there.
Mark Langford.
Sean Green for the Dodgers did it against the Brewers.
But Josh Hamilton
Didn't
also
Bob
killed a guy.
Horner do it for the Braves back in the day too?
Bob Horner, he's a dentist. He's a dentist now. In the American League, it's got to be Aaron Judge, MVP, right?
Yeah,
55
easily.
home runs, and then Ohtani.
Yeah, that's not a
National
question.
League, this is pretty much locked up.
You're not going to
here.
ride for Bobby Witt?
I love Bobby Witt Jr. Bobby Witt Jr. also low-key putting up a historic season where he is no player since I think like the 30s or something has had a season with 30 homers, 30 steals, 40 doubles, and 10 triples or something
Give it
like
to him.
that.
Fuck Aaron Judge.
And also, unlike Aaron Judge or Ohtani, who doesn't do this at all, Bobby Witt Jr. elite defender.
Yeah.
Like absolutely at shortstop too. So like
Doesn't play in a hitter's park.
No, and
he
was a fan favorite at the Home Run Derby, by the way, in Houston. Like everybody was rooting for that guy.
Yeah,
got swag.
He's awesome, and
Yeah.
I really, I really want the Royals to make the playoffs. They're in a bit of a dogfight as well as the Braves, and they play each other in the last series of the season. So
You guys should do the honorable thing.
look, if
Bend the knee. Bend the
I'll
knee
root for
to the
if
Royals.
the Braves don't get in, I'll root for the Royals.
To win the World Series?
Yeah,
Interesting. Okay. The Braves going to make it here?
No, I don't think so.
we have to sweep the Mets. There is
I
no.
don't think they'll make it, but Sale's going to win the Cy Young in the NL.
Mets are hot.
That's over. Tariq Skubal will win the Cy Young in the American League.
That's
So most of the major awards are pretty much done.
Yeah.
Rookie of the Year actually is oddly hot in the National League. Skeens might not win actually.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to have enough starts. I mean, it's just because who's the other one?
I think it's a Reds player.
It's not
who's been on fire.
fuck's his name?
I forget.
I think they'll give it to Skeens.
Maybe when it's pitchers, or when it's Rookie of the Year, other than the other, like for Silver Slugger or for
Gold Glove.
Gold Glove or for MVP or something like that, the time you actually play matters. But if you get like 70 or 80 games and you're crazy in it, you can win Rookie of the Year.
Yeah,
I actually think Ken Griffey Jr. won Rookie of the Year, only hitting 16 home runs in like 100 games or some shit like that, just because he was the best that year.
Also, breaking news here in college football: Memphis, Tulane, USF, UTSA.
They've come together.
All commits to the AAC
Yes.
amid Pac-12 interest.
Because first off, commit to the AAC. If the ACC came calling, Memphis is gone. If the Big 12 came calling, Memphis is gone.
Yeah, why would you jump from the American to essentially the Mountain West Pac-12?
Yeah, there's no reason to go to the Pac-12 if you're Memphis or UTSA. You can get better. You can
You can still get a bid just winning the American.
Yeah.
That's the other thing too. Yeah, like you do not necessarily need to be in a bigger conference anymore to make the playoff.
Now with the 12-team playoffs, they got to put somebody
With an auto bid for the 5 highest ranked conference winners, you can get in playing a bitch ass schedule.
Yep. So I understand why they're doing it here, and then the Pac-12 is starting to load up on teams as well. They should have that rounded out by the end of the year. They said for the brand new Pac-12.
Have they offered UNLV yet?
I
I don't know that they have.
But the American, it's just like a girl asking you, "What are we?" And they reluctantly were just like, "I guess we're together."
yeah.
Yeah, so not UNLV. They've added Boise State, Fresno State, Colorado State, and San Diego State. And then
I saw some smoke about this is not relevant for football, but Gonzaga as well.
Gonzaga for
Yeah, maybe.
basketball.
But Memphis, Tulane, USF, UTSA, what was it, San Jose?
No, for the
Or
AAC.
who was it? Who was the other one?
Fresno State.
Fresno State. Yeah, I mean, it's like some decent G5 teams.
Yeah.
They're going to all be in a conference now. That all worked out.
You're just trying to make the ultimate G5 conference.
Yeah.
I like Boise State.
They're honestly like a certain amount of G5 schools should get together and just be like, we're the cream of the G5 crop. Let's just
And then just combine it with the Big 12 too. Fuck it.
yeah.
Let's just play our own little sport. Let's just have our own playoff.
I think you should start changing rules. Like for 40 years, the American League and National League and the NFL had different rules. Not just different rules, but completely different strike zones.
Yeah.
Like the American League, it was the textbook definition of a strike, right? From the what do you call it? The
chest or the letters.
the logo, from
Yeah.
the logo to the knees, right? And then the edges of the plate. That was the strike zone in the American League. They called the high strike way more. For some reason, I don't know how this happened or why, but the National League would give you farther off the plate and low strikes.
Yeah.
But nothing high, ever. I don't know how the fuck that happened, but I think the NFL should do that as well. And college and everybody. Just have your own little fucking unique blend to it that creates some division and home field advantage. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I agree.
Just do something weird, like, hey, we don't fucking.
No, we don't do
everybody,
that.
like, for example,
we don't punt in this league.
Yeah.
if you're the
The coaches should dress in pads too.
if you're the Giants, right? They need a gimmick.
it's baseball.
They got to get some people in the seats somehow. I bring Diddy on board. I'm like, hey, before you go out onto the field, we got a guy, and he lubes up everybody. Refs,
you keep him in a
coaching
cage the
staff,
entire game?
the players, everybody. And I'm not just like part of you. He's gonna fucking get in there.
Just 22 greased up pigs.
Yeah,
That's all it is, dude.
and then that's a completely different ball game at that point.
And I'm
it doesn't
watching.
matter that Danny Dimes can't throw the ball at that point.
No.
All he's got to do is fucking squeal and run.
Doesn't matter, does it?
Well, he discovered he had Malik Neighbors this week, so
Yeah, and Kyler Murray figured out he had Marvin Harrison Jr. He had another fucking touchdown this weekend. But even that game, shit, that was a 55-point over. I didn't touch it, but they only scored 30 combined in that.
Lions are good.
It's a weird NFL season.
Lions have a good defense.
Yeah, they do. They do.
Finally.
a
But
good
it's
team.
it's a weird NFL season. I don't know what to fucking think of this.
It's just the NFL. Every week, they'll fuck you.
The NFL.
Every year
sucks.
there's something. Remember, what was it, 3 years ago, it was 14 of the starting quarterbacks by week 4 had missed a game or something like that. Remember that? Like 2 or 3 years ago? Every year it's some new stupid bullshit.
Yeah.
But it's not like college where, the NFL, anybody could beat you. College, like the Bowling Green Penn State game, it was always going to be a Penn State win.
Yeah. at the
Bowling
end of the
Green
day.
can scare you, but they're never going to win the game.
It's impossible to do what like NIU did to Notre Dame. Like it takes so much incompetence and luck. Whereas in the NFL, yeah, it is all professionals. Like more than any other sport, really, I feel like it is all goddamn professionals, and you just never know.
Yeah, it'll be fun to watch tonight. We'll see if any of these picks come true. Betting the NFL this year has been a wild fucking.
I've actually been really good in the NFL this year so far.
You have, I
was
think, yeah.
9-3, 9-4, and then this week I'm 8-5 so far. Which
I was
is not as good.
50-50 this week, and that was a good week for me.
I'm
I
way
was
ahead.
terrible
I'm like
last week.
65% right now.
I'm fucking terrible in it, man.
But I've been taking some weird ones, like the Panthers +5. I took that just because fuck Gardner Minshew. I got lucky
Sure.
on that one.
But if you look
That
at
was a
this,
spite pick.
it was a
It
spite
was
pick.
totally a spite pick, which I might start doing every week.
Every week,
because it's
just
making me
Dan's
money.
spite picks.
But I don't, for me, so like I try not to do it out of spite because like you were going to the Eagles game, like I was like, no, the Eagles should win this.
I mean, it's
fucking
not a good
game.
reason to bet.
Not at all.
To be
at all.
fair, we were essentially the home team.
Yeah.
Oh, was that what it was like there?
Yeah. Dude, Bourbon was just all Eagles fans.
Same thing. Did you see that?
Go Birds. Go every other second. Go Birds.
Let me see if I can
Birds.
find this
It
fucking
was
picture.
about 50-50 in the Mercedes-Benz as well. There's a lot of Chiefs fans
Yeah,
there.
and with
It was
Atlanta.
like everyone.
Oh.
I was saying to my buddies, I was like, why did every Chiefs fan decide that this was the trip this year?
Well, Mercedes-Benz, Atlanta's a big city, easy to fly to, and also
Yeah.
that's one of the better stadiums. But did you see the overhead shot from the Rams 49ers game? It was
all Niners fans.
only Niners fans.
LA has
There were no LA
home field
fans
advantage,
at
yeah.
all.
Because no one's a Rams fan, no one's a Chargers fan.
No. In LA, no one is.
Yeah.
For either of those fucking teams.
So the
They
Rams
don't
picked
deserve
up and left
football.
St. Louis so they could come and have no fans.
Yeah, Stan Kroenke doesn't. I mean, he gets.
I'm sure they're
paid,
making
so-
plenty of money.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Fuck.
Kroenke, I mean, as much hate as you have for that man in your heart, he kills it in every sport.
Well,
Yeah, but so did Don Sterling.
I'm backing off the Kroenkes because they are pretty sizable contributors to Missouri's NIL. So fuck it.
Ah, there you go.
His kid played for Mizzou's basketball team. The kid who runs, I believe, the Nuggets now, Josh Kroenke. He was the one that got Larry Eustachy in trouble. He invited. I don't even remember that picture. The Iowa State coach getting fucked up with college students back in the day.
Yep.
Yeah. Josh Kroenke invited Larry Eustachy to his house on East Campus.
Attaboy.
And the pics came out.
There you go. And that's going to happen, kids. We'll get out of here early and let you guys watch the double header here. Shit, that kicks off in like an hour and 20 minutes. So it'll be fun as shit. You got the 2 and 2 screen at least, right, on YouTube TV? So I can watch
Yeah, you
both at
should
the
be
same
able to
time?
watch
Thank
both,
God. Okay, cool, man. Because setting these an hour apart.
What
I really
channels
don't
are they
know.
on? ESPN and
ABC.
oh, so ESPN has both.
I believe so, yes. But one will air on ABC,
Yeah.
the other one will air on ESPN.
Who gets the
makes
Manning
sense.
cast?
Manning Cast isn't doing that well this year.
They're gonna double up on Manning cast.
Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do.
Make the Mannings do both. They have to watch the double screen.
They're great. They're fucking great. Appreciate you tuning in, kids. Go to iTunes, rate the show a 5-star, and leave a quick review. Also, head on over to Spotify. It's just a 5-star, and you can walk away. Don't forget to bet with us or against us at mybookie.com. Make sure to use that promo code DrinkinBros to double that first deposit all the way up to $1,000 for D'Anthony Holloway, Delco Dan, Hot Bob.